My name is Chandrashekhar Das. I am with the International Society of Krishna Consciousness, and today I'd like to speak a little bit of my pastimes with Srila Prabhupada. There weren't very many, and this is why. Back in the 70s, I was a foot soldier in the Sankirtan army of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu under the Srila Prabhupada, our commander-in-chief. So I did not have a big position, and I did not get Srila Prabhupada's personal association very much. But I can tell you one story I think you'll like. In Chicago, it must have been 1974, Srila Prabhupada was in the temple, and he was about to leave. So, as you can imagine, there were many, many devotees who had come from the region and all over just to see Srila Prabhupada. So, I knew the temple setup, and so I knew where Prabhupada would be exiting. So I took opportunity to place myself on the ledge. It was a step. There were two on either side of these two doors. So I would be right next to my spiritual master when he came out of the building. So I'm there. I got the best position, I thought. And so in front of me are maybe 600 other devotees who are also anxious to see Srila Prabhupada. And so they're on the sidewalk, going into the street a little bit, and I think on the other side they were just giving enough room for cars to go by without impeding. So we are having kirtan, and in due course Srila Prabhupada comes out of the door. So Brahmananda is just on his other side. Everybody just goes crazy for Srila Prabhupada. If you had room, you could pay your obeisances. Some were making their best efforts. Some had tears in their eyes. And immediately the devotees were jumping and dancing. And it was a scene of great joy and happiness. So, of course, Srila Prabhupada, taking great pleasure in this scene, he came out. I somehow paid my obeisances. I'm right next to my Guru Maharaj. And on the other side, Brahmananda Swami. And so Srila Prabhupada, he comes out and he looks over the entire crowd from one end to the next as we're all chanting and dancing with a broad smile on his face, as if he's looking at each and every devotee. And then from above, from the deity sewing room, the ladies started dropping flower petals on Srila Prabhupada. And so Brahmananda Swami says, "Oh, Srila Prabhupada," over the roar of the kirtan. He says, "Oh, Srila Prabhupada, the demigods, they're showering flowers on you." And at that point, Srila Prabhupada became very grave. And he again looked over the devotees. It seemed to me, one at a time, looking slowly from one side to the other. And he said, "Yes, they are all demigods." I remember the one picture, I saw it today in the gift shop here at Juhu Mandir. There's Srila Prabhupada standing holding a danda, and in back is a purple cloth. And this I see this picture everywhere I go. It's a very famous picture, but that's not Srila Prabhupada's danda. Srila Prabhupada didn't travel with a danda. That is Sudam Maharaj's danda, who was about Srila Prabhupada's height. And the story is that was in Henry Street in Brooklyn in 1972. Srila Prabhupada came there. Murli Vadana was one of the ISKCON Press photographers. Bhargava was the other photographer. And they had put this beautiful crushed purple velvet cloth over the wall of the back gardens, and it was a photo session. So during the photo session, Prabhupada pointed up to us. We were all looking out the windows. 4 floors of of men looking, squeezing their heads out of each window, looking. On the other side were the brahmacharis looking out their windows, watching this transcendental photo session of our Guru Maharaj. So Prabhupada points to all of us and he speaks to the photographer. And so afterwards we said, Prabhu, 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 what did Srila Prabhupada say? And he said, may my disciples be in the picture with me? And so Murli Vadana had to tell him, no. I don't know how he told him no, but he said, Srila Prabhupada, we're just trying to get your photo. So that was a nice event. And one time, I'll tell you, in 1972, it was Vyas Puj Day. And that, of course, was in New Vrindavan at the Bhagavat Dharma Discourses. So the discourses were, of course, on top of the hill. We'd be running up and down that hill all day long. But I was in charge of making flower garlands for their lordships, Sri Sri Radha Damodar, who we traveled with. Just imagine, Radha Krishnamurti, in the mood of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We would take them to college campuses, and it was just a wonderful program. So every day, our budget for flower garlands for Radha Damodar was exactly $0. So I had to find out some way to get flowers. So I would do that in the parks and hither and thither. But Vishnu Janaswami said, Bhakta Chris, I want you to get flowers, and you're going to be in charge of making our garland for Srila Prabhupada's Vyas Puj Day. So what do? I have no dollars. So I ran down to Moundsville, and in a dhoti and shaved head, probably 19 years old, I was running around town knocking on doors saying, hello, it's my spiritual master's birthday tomorrow. Could I pick some of your marigolds? And so the people were so kind. I did that. Almost no one said no. I think everybody said yes. I picked some roses, marigolds, a few other flowers. At any rate, so I made this nice garland that was presented to Srila Prabhupada. I think it was first. And other garlands were given from other parties. Eventually, Prabhupada took off all his garlands because they were piling up, and he left mine on. So all I can say is, Prabhupada was most kind to me by doing that, and nowadays you see that picture periodically in the Vyas Puj homages. So.